Writer, composer, musician, aristocrat, swindler, lowborn, highborn, deposed prince, teleporter, time traveler, linguist, high priest, Greek poet, mythical magician, statesman, scientist, saint, and that's not all. Explorer, mathematician, astronomer, and more is what the person we will be delving into today has been called. Join us today as we open the door into the time traveler zone.
I didn't see you there.
It all started early this morning.
From hunting ghosts to Bigfoot, UFOs,
Cryptids, true crime, paranormal, and more.
I've always wanted to see a UFO.
Oh, I was researching for your entertainment.
That's Bigfoot's scat.
He basically wrote the book on Monarch.
We aren't really comedians.
What if Buddha did cocaine?
The Addams Family on meth. This is the Black Cat Report.
See you on the other side.
Welcome to episode 108 of the Black Cat Report. I am Joey, and with me is the time-traveled out Lord of Dance, fleet-footed Gil.
Hello.
Right up top, we want to say that we will be extending Time Travel Month just to get in all the awesome things we wanted to cover this month.
You'd said it a little while back. You said, I'm going to extend Time Traveler Month, and I said, I don't think I've ever heard a sentence that made more sense than that. So that's what we're doing. It's still July in our minds, and we're still in Time Traveler Month.
Yes, we will still keep going. Because normally we had 3 episodes of one time traveler. We just wanted to add just one more time traveler into this. So we will have 2 episodes, this episode and the next episode. Also, we want to give a quick shout out to all of our patrons, our patron so far. Please help us keep our lights on and our internet working so we can bring all these mind-bending realities to you. The link for our Patreon is going to be in the show notes. Without further ado, let's get to our time traveler. The man of many names, but the name that is most accepted and he is known for is Count Saint Germain, which is Count Saint Germain. Saint Germain's parentage has been mostly accepted, or at least in my book, mostly accepted, as being the son of Prince of Transylvania, Franz Leopold, or known as Prince Ragolski. Other people have theorized that he was the son of the widow of Charles II, the King of Spain, and father was a Madrid banker, or he was the natural son of the King of Portugal, or the son of a tax gatherer in Rotondo, Italy. So there's a lot of people that are like, hey, let's theorize where he goes, because it's not super set of his parents, and as we know from time travelers, do we really know who most of these people's parents are?
No.
Did we know who,
Sarurico?
Yeah, Soriko.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they were incredibly close to him, and they were in the hospital.
Oh, that's
and stuff
right.
when everything was happening.
I forgot about that.
He's one of the few people we've covered on the show who actually had a healthy background.
True. Well, really.
Like, totally good childhood, honestly. It felt weird. I think that's what took so long, was just like, we're not used to covering like healthy lives.
We are not.
I spent more time just learning how to have a healthy life than, actually writing. I was just like, that's what's supposed to happen.
Your parents are supposed to be there? Yeah. Right? No. For our purposes, the most likely parentage we're going to cover is Prince Ragolski, because that's honestly what I feel like and what I've seen is the most likely person to be there. Well, we're going to delve into some my favorite areas to study as well, because history is a huge piece in a time traveler's life, right? Just like in the last series where he went back and did a shit ton of stuff, went back to the beginning of history and went literally to the end of the future and into another dimension. History plays a big part,
yes.
And they play a big part in history. Well, Saint Germain's grandfather had lost his territories of Transylvania due to Austrian expansion, and Prince Ragolski, who was Saint Germain's father, was given back the territories to rule once he came of age.
Where did I put those things?
The Austrian Empire just took it from him, pretty much. So
you gotta stop getting drunk and going to Austria every fucking time you come back and you lose everything.
Dude, I'm telling you, that warm beer. Warm beer gets to you. Well, unfortunately, his father also fell into the same trap that his grandfather fell into.
It was the same pub.
Yeah, it was the same pub. He just kept going into the same one. He tried to usurp the government and turn Austrian nobles against each other. Well, just like normal, he was eventually jailed and killed. Yeah, really sad. Well, due to this, the Austrian emperor made their children give up their noble names, right? So they couldn't have these prince names anymore, so The 3 children's names were changed to...
You are now the artist formerly known as Prince.
Yes. Yeah. The 3 children's names were changed to Saint Carlo, Saint Elizabeth, and our very own Saint Germain.
They were downgraded to saints.
Yeah, right. I don't know why they made him change the name to Saint as like I don't know if it held the same weight.
Names had like a shit ton of like meaning back in the day, because like that was, I mean, it wasn't the name, it was the title, right? That's what actually happened. It was the title got changed.
The prince name. Yep.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, at a time when like literally like word is bond and you can be killed for that because they didn't have a means to communicate quickly.
Yep.
Somebody shows up and they say they're a count or they're a prince or they're a princess or they're a saint, you know, whatever. Like all of those have specific class. It's kind of like, honestly, it's the same shit as like the military.
Yep.
You know, if you're a sergeant and you're showing up and you're claiming to be a fucking general, like that's a big deal. That's going to fuck with a lot of things. And you're in a lot of trouble if you lie.
True.
It makes sense. I just think it's funny that it's like, all right, you're now a saint. Ha! How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that actually might be like a step up.
And I can't find my home.
Yeah, might be a step up. General Germain, that has a nice ring to it, which we'll find later. Now, this is important to establish because sometimes he is known as a penniless adventurer and a swindler. But to be fair, he was of noble birth. And he had a lot of education behind him. So later in the story, there's a lot of people that are like, I don't understand how he got his money. I don't understand where he came from and why people like him so much. Well, he was purported to have been educated by the Duke of Tuscany and attended the University of Siena, as in what is now modern-day Italy, basically.
And this is how you make chicken.
Tuscan chicken. He was the genius behind it. Well, this would add into his later feats and notable moments in his time travel. So, Count Saint Germain was described as medium height. He just had normal, regular features, honestly. He basically had no scars, no odd features. He could blend in with most people. His hair was black, and he was described as a face full of genius. He was known to dress very simply, but with taste, right? So I like to imagine him dressing in a velour tracksuit. I think he's like the Paris Hilton of the 1700s, you know? That's how I like to imagine
He's just
him.
carrying around a miniature like featherless chicken named Herbert all the time.
Yeah,
instead of fucking Paris Hilton's.
You know what? Had a nice little friend beside him, just like walking around disagreeing with him, whatever he did.
This is Herbert.
Yep. Well, that's where you got the Tuscan chicken from.
I just couldn't have him for dinner.
Had to keep him. He also was said to carry around a huge box of diamonds, and he also wore diamonds on every finger. So this kind of like adds into that, which also reminds me of Paris Hilton.
Okay.
It's also a reference from the 2000s.
Yeah. But I was picturing when he said that he like dresses differently, kind of like more stylish and stuff. I was like picturing him in like basically just burlap.
Yeah.
You know, like totally just burlap, right? And like, but everybody looks at him and they're like, whoa. And he's like, yeah, so a lot of people, where they're not on the right, we're on the left. And they're just like, this guy, I can tell you came from the person that tried to overthrow the government with thinking like that.
You and Herbert. Well, he was also known to be, okay, so like, I'm just going to keep telling all of these amazing things about him. He was also known to be a linguistic master.
Okay.
So he could speak French, English, German, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese perfectly. So much that you could tell that he had just like a slight foreign accent in each language.
Just enough to be sexy.
Yeah, but you couldn't tell where it was from. He was also later to have said to read and speak Sanskrit, Chinese, and Arabic too. So he just like knows every
Who the fuck did he learn Sanskrit at that time? Hold up. I'm stopping this time travel episode. Well,
we'll grind to the halt.
I thought, I don't know if I don't have enough hours of sleep, but I have a feeling like Sanskrit wasn't. What was the Dead Sea Scroll? Wait, no, maybe those were Greek. Anyways, dead ass language, but that's irrelevant for a time traveler. Go ahead. Sorry.
Exactly. Well, and I like to say, like the above, that he was a well-educated noble.
It does look like chicken scratches. That makes sense. He had Herbert teach him how to read Sanskrit.
Interesting.
That was an A. I thought it was an R.
I would like to say that I think he had an eidetic memory.
Okay.
Because he can literally probably remember everything that he saw. And so if he time traveled or went to an area or was working in an area, he could literally look at something once and boom, in his memory. And then he could keep it. So I like to think that that's probably what happened. Even if he's time traveling and learning, he's still got to remember it, you know? And if you're time traveling, you got to remember everything. So
Damn.
I think that that's what he had.
That's true.
Well, there is no set year as to when Saint Germain was born, but from what I'm gathering, it seems like the most likely time period is in between the 1660s and 1690s. That's what most people have said, and that's kind of what I guess too. The year we start in the story is going to be 1710. Count Saint Germain is in Venetia, or what is area surrounding Venice. Saint Germain was 45 years old. At least he looked it. He's able to distinguish himself in the Italian court, so as he was gaining notoriety, that one certain countess noticed him singing beautiful melodies and music that he had composed. He was described as having the most electrifying performances while playing music, almost like a historical Hendrix. I'm pretty sure he lit his harpsichord on fire and played it with his teeth.
He's just over there like, from the windows to the wall, to the wall. And they're like, this man is ahead of his time.
Ahead of his time. So the sweat drops down my balls.
I don't know what this skeet music is, but I quite enjoy it.
Skeet everywhere. Herbert, quiet down.
Yes, I believe that is Street Germain and the Herbert Boys. That is good. I like that.
Turned down for what?
I said that just the other day to Stephanie, and she said, what? And I said, exactly.
What?
This guy has a point.
What?
A poet of the time.
The poet.
Have you heard his tales of Nellyville? Well, he invited us all there. I'm excited to go.
Yes, and something about country grammar.
It's just all 2000 references tonight, baby.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be. We are time travelers today. Well, Saint Germain was noted as an expert in playing pretty much any instrument.
As long as they were all drums. See that?
It's a drum.
I could do that there. That? Look at that. You didn't even know that was a drum. Give me your baby.
Anything's a drum. Well, his count of musical compositions went into the 50s. So he had over 50 musical.
Jesus.
And to me, as a person who writes songs, that's a fuck ton of songs and violin compositions. He wrote whole sonatas. He wrote pretty much anything in the breadth of music at the time. And people said it was fucking good. It stayed with them when he played songs. It made such a mark on the Countess. She remembered him almost 50 years later, again, playing music in the court. Like he was some sort of 1700s Hendrix.
It's just like... Wait, I've heard this before. Hold on one second.
Oh, Macarena. Oh. Well, conversation did go like this because it's written in her memoirs. This is her, the Countess, talking first. Forgive me, but that is impossible. The Count Saint Germain I knew in those days was at least 45 years old, and you, at the outside, are of that age at present, he replies. Madam, I am very old. But then you must be nearly 100 years old. That is not impossible. And I imagine he said that last little bit with the slyest little grin on his face. He's like, I'm way older than that.
I gotta point out, too, for somebody who lived past the age of 50, she was old as fuck in that time.
She was.
Right? And, I'm just saying, that's holy shit.
Yeah.
You know,
but she was royalty.
400 generations of children, pass you after that.
But she was royalty, too.
Still,
so they get treated better. They live a lot longer. It's just kind of they last.
Sus. I think she's a reptilian, but that's just me.
I mean, hey, you know what? Well, every time somebody mentions Saint Germain, they account that he looks like he's in his 40s or 50s, in between 40 and 50. So every account that we have, that I've read, that I've seen, nobody's been like, oh, damn, that dude looks fucking old. They're just like, man, that guy looks like he's about 45. For us, that's middle age,
That man's dapper.
Yeah, dapper, right? In between 1737 and 1742, Saint Germain stayed in the court of Shah in Persia, right? So, and it's here Saint Germain himself figured out the secret to nature and learned as well about precious stones and diamonds. This is how they called it. The secrets
over
of
there.
nature.
It's over there.
Do you see that beautiful landscape over there? That's it. That's nature. That's the secrets.
Aha! There is dirt.
There is dirt and grass. Is that a potato? Oh, it's just Herbert. Well,
Study Sanskrit later, Herbert. Jesus. It's like,
no, I think this right here from 1737 to 1742 at the court of Shah in Persia was the birthplace of his time travel.
oh.
Because if we look at everything that came after this, he would start having a hand in a full century of history, right? We're going to start at what I like to call his pop-ins in history with the Jacobite Revolution in England. Well, in 1743, Saint Germain was arrested for being accused as being a spy for the Jacobites. Literally 1 year after he finished researching the science of nature in Persia. He was arrested because someone had slipped a letter into his pocket thanking him for helping them in the passing of information. He was then released, proving his innocence, and funny enough, this proving of his innocence led him to meeting and having dinner with one of the richer lords in England who would help him later on. After his arrest and release, the next destination was back to India in 1755 to continue his second round of studying nature and also study the art of manipulating diamonds, rubies, and precious stones.
Yeah, the normal things. He would have been 95 at this point. Is that right? Or no?
In quotations, but still looks like he's 45. So he never ages because that's the biggest thing. Time traveler or immortal. This would lead directly into the next public meeting with Saint Germain, as in 1757, he returned to France at Château de Chambord. He met with the king who had ordered a medium-sized diamond that had no flaw in it, and this is heading exactly into his, bread and butter.
Hey, I'm running into town. Can I get you anything? Yeah, could you pick me up a couple rubies, a couple gems, 2 or 3 goats, and shit, you know what, oh, yeah, the missus asked me for this, a medium-sized diamond. Nothing fancy, but, don't, there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. I know last time you came back with a large one. I didn't even want that, and it was just the fire on it was insane. I don't want that this time. It's just a medium one, all right? Yes, sir. Can I have some?
Don't worry about it. I'm good for it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm good for it.
Just picture some, peasant walking around just being like, where do I find a diamond? Sorry, did you say something? Yes, in fact, I am looking for a diamond. You wouldn't happen to be that goose that I heard so much about. Oh, yeah, no, I wasn't going to take your eggs or anything like that. No, I'm looking for a diamond. What, you said follow you. All right. I'm sorry, I don't speak Sanskrit. What was that last thing you said? All right, let's go.
Let's go. And they went on a journey. They went on a nice long journey together.
It was just Herbert was just right outside the castle, just fucking chickens when he walked out. And he's just like, la da 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 da. Just like, normal day. Oh my God.
I know you. Herbert?
Did you say your name was Pervert? Oh, Herbert. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, the diamond with the flaw in it was worth about 4K livres, which is the currency at the time. But without the flaw, it would be 6,000 livres. So it would be 2K more without the flaw, right? So Saint Germain took the diamond for a month, and then he returned to the king because the king was like, "Hey, can you fix this for me? I'm trying to make money here. Look, I'm the king. I'm a prince. I'm trying to make money here, right? So yeah. I'm trying to make big bucks here because I'm bored because somebody's gotta keep these chickens fed outside. I don't know why they keep
they just keep
why they keep multiplying. Herbert.
Okay, so wait, was this he wanted a diamond, or he already had a diamond and he sent it off to be fancy polished or some shit?
Yes, fancy polished. He had a diamond.
Oh, well, my skit made no sense.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. It makes it funnier.
Yeah.
He had a diamond, and I'm sure he was looking for another diamond anyways, just to make more money. So the diamond had the flaw in it, right? So it had this tiny flaw in it, and the guy was like, "Hey, I still want to get about 8,000 livres for this when you fix it. It's going to be smaller, obviously, but I know I'm going to get money for it." Well, he brings the diamond back. The king said that it was the literal same diamond, but the spot was gone. the basically little imperfection was gone, and now the diamond was worth 10,000 livres. So the diamond did not get any smaller. So nobody freaking knows how he took the spot out, because it was near impossible to make that spot go away without, like, obviously chipping away at the diamond, chipping off of it, and getting stuff.
Yeah, you gotta
and so
cut the diamond,
right?
Yeah.
And so it was not any smaller. Guy is a genius.
Okay. Did he check to see if it was cubic zirconia?
I don't know if they knew those things back in the day.
It's like, God, that shit works every time.
Yeah. He had his diamond person inspect it. That's how he knew how much it was worth. So
Come over here, Harold. It's just Herbert dressed up with a monocle. If he scratches on the left, it means it's real. I've never seen him do a dance like this. It's how much? We'll be able to afford food for all your children.
Damn.
Tuscan chicken for everyone. Sorry.
Well, it seems like through his time in India, he learned how to basically make diamonds grow. That's what the king said, basically, is that he figured out how to make them grow. I don't know. The king's obviously, probably not too bright in a general sense.
They're notoriously gullible, honestly. But yeah.
Notoriously gullible and inbred. So, yes.
Crazy theory. Those two things might be related. Just like the people getting married there.
Exactly.
But anyways.
Well, throughout his time, there were a lot of notes and a lot of quotes about him doing similar things with diamonds and pearls for other people. So it wasn't just the king that said this. This is the one quote that I wanted to note in this.
And he gave my sister a pearl necklace. I still haven't seen it yet, though. Yes, it was very nice.
It's very nice. Herbert, get out of the bedroom. Well, I want to note that this was also part of the golden age of alchemy, right? And people prided themselves on having the secrets to try to grow precious stones and metals, as well as change them to different forms and different metals. So this was like the 1700s was the end of it before actual science came through and was like, that's not how metals work. That's not how base elements work.
Stupid ass Ben Franklin got hit by lightning.
Pretty much, yeah, actually.
I had nowhere to go with that.
Well, let's jump ahead just a few years and we'll drop into the 7 Years' War. Very great name for this because it literally lasted 7 years. Unlike the 100 Years' War, which was 116 years and split up into 3 different sections, which is really stupid.
They were just like, damn, that wishful thinking sure as fuck didn't work that time.
It did not. Well, without getting too much into the details of the 7 Years' War, we're going to quickly summarize so that you know a little of the backstory. And honestly, the 7 Years' War is fucking massive. It's for 7 years, so much stuff went on. It was just, honestly, I didn't even want to learn about it.
So now you're not going to.
I was just like, this is just too much. And so now I'm not going to summarize it for you because I didn't want to read it.
Hell yeah.
Just kidding. I'm going to summarize it a tiny bit. The 7 Years' War basically is what I would call the first ever world war because it almost included everyone that was of note in North America, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, the Pacific, and Eastern Asia. So literally all the major powers squaring off. The major powers alliances were France, Spain, Austria, Russia, and Sweden, and there's a few smaller countries mixed in there against Britain, Prussia, Portugal, as well as some other small countries. The 7 Years' War basically bled over into many different wars, which is why the 7 Years' War is really stupid, and it led for the pathway for the United States to fight off the British and become a free country on June 7th in 1776. So all of this is backstory into everything else that went on.
Okay.
Now that the stage has been set, let's drop in the Count Saint Germain. So, King Louis XV of France basically started the idea of the secret peace treaties in the 1700s and sent out his best man who had been doing it since 1749. Herbert. Why does he keep writing in Sanskrit?
Now he has a monocle and a mustache.
It was Saint Germain. the beast of a man. Not really a beast. He was just a man.
So you're saying it was Louis the 15th?
Louis the 15th,
right?
King of England, or King of France at that time, sorry.
At this point, and he's well past 100 years old at this point, if he was born in 1660.
For sure.
And he's like, what do? I totally want to get with, like, the enemy's sister, but, like, we're not cool, but I want to be cool, but we can't tell the public that we want to be cool. Got it. Secret peace treaty. He's like, Count. And he's like, yes, sir. Can I count on you? Ha ha. I am the funniest. So, of course you can, sir. And they were just sent off. So, like, at this point, that also means that Saint Germain had already gotten to the country and worked his way up into the aristocracy to the fucking point that in order to establish a super ultra top secret peace treaty, he relied on him.
Because he knew everything about everyone and everything. And that's what was quoted later on, I'll quote, is that he was probably the smartest person in the area. And that's why I think he did commemorate, because he knew something about everything. Well, he knew almost everything about everything. And so he could continue a conversation with this person, with that person, no matter their station, no matter what they knew, no matter what they did. And he kind of had that, like, what do you call it? That, like, good conversation skills. And he was also noted as being just, like, extraordinarily nice.
Damn.
Which is just, like, one of the things, like, he wasn't arrogant. He never came across as arrogant. He never came across as, like, oh, I know more than you. He would just come as, like, a friend, sitting there drinking with you, telling these random tales of people that he met, things he was in, even some of his, like, his knowledge he would share. There are certain things that he did not share, but he did share a lot of his life. That's why people also were just like, this guy knows a lot of shit for being 45.
Yeah.
Well, King Louis XV sent him to try to make peace with England in Prussia because the war was not going as good as he wanted it to. Saint Germain, making his way to Prussia, came in contact with King Louis XV's head of ministry, who was also talking to the other ambassadors, Duc de Choiseul. As Saint Germain was making headway in peace talks and furthering King Louis's plan, the Duc de Choiseul got hurt that the king was basically replacing him, so he sent a letter to the king saying, and this is in my own words, hey, if you don't get a hold of your boy, I'm about to do it for you.
He sits there and he like, yes. Yes. Perfectly worded. Perfectly worded. Would you mind looking at this for me? Yeah, it does have all the elements. Yes. Now, soon as it gets to be Sunday this next week, I'm going to hand this off to our postal carrier. And in about 4.5 weeks, the king is going to receive this. It's going to take him a few days to get it written out. I mean, he has to get the wax for the seal. Then he's going to get his response. It's going to take him 3, 4, maybe 5 days. You know, they have to import the wax. Because, there's been this whole thing with the chickens going on there, and they're a little low on funds at the moment. But he's going to bring in the wax. Right? He's going to see it, and he's going to send off 2 letters. Blind. CC this shit. One of them is going to arrive to the Count Saint Germain, and the other one is going to be what's actually going on behind the scenes. So in exactly 3.5 months, he'll know what's coming to him. Jokes aside, how fucking long would it have taken for everything to have circled back?
Yeah, because they would have to go by horse. And they were in similar areas, too, which is the funniest thing. They were in the same area talking to the same people. And so at the same time. So he's just getting mad that they're just, like, looking at each other.
I was going to say that.
I mean, Saint Germain not caring. He's just like, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. But the other guy's like,
where did that pesky Germain go? Where did he go? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. No problem at all. Count Saint Germain. He's like, yes, I was just tying your shoe. I noticed you were getting ready to go down the stairs in a moment, and I didn't want a truffle. You know.
Yeah.
Oh. Damn it.
He's just a genuine person. Well, the king basically not wanting to lose land in favor with people that were his subjects and people that were, you know, the rich people, rich landowners there.
Yeah, not wanting to lose his kingdom.
Basically, yeah. He said that, you know, I'm not going to have this. We're not going to get rid of him. We're going to get rid of Saint Germain. And the king was noted as being an innocent person because he could not see the evils and schemes around him. He basically said he would rather just disavow the secret negotiator Saint Germain than lose one of his cabinet people.
So they politely made him aware that he was an idiot.
Yes.
Gotcha.
All of his cabinet people made him aware that he was dumb. And, you know, but they were also yes people, too. So when he had stupid ideas, they had to say yes, obviously. And then behind his back, they would scheme, they would get stuff going. Saint Germain being a good guy, actually a good person in this time, which is kind of funny, was telling the king, hey, like, look at people around you. I'm not going to say they're terrible people. I just want to say that just be careful after I leave to go on this mission. There's people that do not have your best interests. And next episode, we're going to go into some real crazy things that Saint Germain did for the French aristocracy. Well, Saint Germain basically knew that this was going to happen, which is kind of funny. And he got pissed about it, but he's like, it's fine, it's whatever. He ended up escaping to England. And after he went from England, he stayed there for about a year. Then he moved on to Russia. This is important because if peace had been pursued at this time, basically got peace with England, France would have kept most of its lands it had gained. But instead, when the 7 Years' War ended in 1763, they had lost most of their holdings in the New World. Basically, everything that they had gained. England took everything. Ooh. Also, the person who helped them escape back to England and get out from being caught by the king was the same lord he had dinner with after he was released from prison.
Lord Herbert.
It actually was Lord H. I'm not kidding. It didn't say his full name, but it was Lord H. No.
Yes. Fuck yes, Herbert.
Yeah.
Fucking love Herbert.
Mm-hmm. Well, Saint Germain basically just dusted his hands of this and moved on. And he was like, I'm out. Like, I tried, but you guys suck. Honestly, like, I know what's going to happen. You don't. Well, he's about to pop up again in history as a little bit of a, he just keeps popping up in all these crazy spots, honestly. I mean, that's what a time traveler does, right?
That's what they do.
Now, we're in England right before he goes to Russia, and Saint Germain is cooling his heels. It seems like he is in the right place at the right, or even maybe the wrong time.
He was in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time.
Yep, Dr. John.
I was in the right place. Yeah, exactly. Okay, go on.
Well, now, I found a website online that described...
he also played that with someone named Herbie.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yes. Okay, so it goes... Back. I get it
Got
now.
it. Okay, yes. Yeah. Got it. Well, now I found a website that describes Saint Germain's time in England as one of searching, right? So they said he was searching for the Le Marchand box, or what is called the Cage of Desire, the Dreamweave cube.
Ooh.
Have you heard of that?
No, but it's said to have hold unlimited pleasure. And it fits in the palm of your hand. Wow. We must find this. It's just a fleshlight.
Yeah. Now you won't have any more kids, Herbie.
You said it's near the chicken farm? Yeah. All right, let's go.
All right, let's go. All their adventures. They're beautiful. Oh my God, they would have beautiful adventures.
They did.
Kids wherever they go. Well, all the references this page made pretty much were just circular, and all the references just came back to the same website. And honestly, it was in the freaking Cage of Desire, the Dream Cube, was in a movie. And that's what it was from. And so the website that I researched into, because I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. Like, what was he doing in England? They said that he brought the Le Marchand box to Russia to give to Catherine the Great. Give to the new husband of Catherine the Great, which we're going to go into in a minute. And that helped all of his desires come true, the Dreamweave Cube. And I've seen reenactments of this, and it's literally probably...
I just get so tired of giving hand jobs all the time. I need a solution. Have you heard of the secret pleasure box? No.
It is the Cage of Desire.
Herbert, tell her about it. I gotta go pee. Oh. Wow, I thought you were just a horny chicken. You're quite wise.
The wisest. Well, he did end up heading to Russia in 1762, but not with the Dreamweave Cube. I'm just going to cut that out of there because, like, look, people, he did not go after the Dreamweave Cube. I'm pretty sure that's just from a fucking movie.
What seriously, though, is the Dreamweave Cube?
It's just
what is it?
It's just a cube that's said to hold what's it called? Like, not an algorithm, but the way it's put together of this cube, because it's a physical cube. Physical cube, when
it's
it gets
a fucking Rubik's Cube, isn't it?
It looks like it does look like a Rubik's Cube, but like gold. The way it was, like, I saw the pictures of it. pictures of it. It's a remake of it,
Yeah.
supposedly. Was that it's these gold cube, and like you can turn it and you can move it like a Rubik's cube, literally, but only once. But each
Okay.
side has its own little like artwork, and if you put it in a certain direction, it helps you achieve whatever your dream is, right? So it's like a mixture
Oh.
between a Rubik's cube and a magic 8-ball. So
It's like a Rubik's Cube with LSD inside.
Yeah.
This is wild.
yeah.
Is there any information about like its origin or shit? Or is it just kind of like, nope, there's this thing out there?
It's Le Marchand, the guy who that's named after, was apparently the originator of it, and he was into alchemy. He was into a lot of the stuff in those days. So he just kind of, I don't think it really existed. I don't think any of it really existed because it's just there's no
Gotcha.
there's no good references online. Even like with all the good stuff that we have out there now, there's no good references. The only reference is a fucking movie from the 90s. So
It's just like we flash back in time. There's a chicken sitting in the producer's chair, and like Saint Germain in the director's chair, and he's like, "I'm going to slowly reveal the truth of the past in my films." He's like, "The next piece I will make is called Pulp Fiction. It's going to cover Herbert's travels." It's just like
Herbert was the gimp. He did end up heading to Russia, like I was saying, in 1762. This time was under the rule of Tsar Peter III and his wife Catherine II, or as we know her, Catherine the Great. And I do want to say there is a great series to watch on Hulu called The Great with Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult, and it's fucking hilarious. And it's about this period when he's overthrowing the king, the Tsar. For his time spent in Russia, he spent considerable amounts of time with Catherine's mother, having tea and chatting. And it was noted that she loved him. A lot of people loved him, but she loved him beyond reproach. Like, she could not get enough of him. And I do want to mention before this even happens, he was never associated with having sex with anybody, having children, or anything like that. Nobody said anything like that. So supposedly never happened. I did want to like put that in there as a disclaimer of like that she loved him just because of his personality.
it's because Herbert was getting all the poon.
Yeah. No.
Damn it, Herbert! I was just getting comfortable here. Yes, I get it. We got to go.
Well, it wasn't too long after he arrived that Catherine the Great overthrew her husband, Peter, and took the throne of Russia and conventionally changed the history of all of Russia, right? So he was noted that he was always in Catherine's ear, talking about great things, amazing things, and within not too long, maybe a couple months to a year, she had already overthrown Tsar Peter. Granted, he was an idiot. If you watch and read about him, Peter was fucking
Tsar
dumb.
Peter, yeah.
And Catherine the Great was smart. She was genius.
Tsar Peter Griffin.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes. He was Tsar Peter Griffin. What Peter Griffin would have been as a Tsar.
You know what really grinds my millet?
Well, when Saint Germain left St. Petersburg, he left in the garb of a Russian general and the Russian seal, which meant that he was given the title of general. And he didn't just steal those clothes. So he was a good military leader, apparently, too, which is just throwing some more stuff.
When the fuck did his military career start? I mean, I know there was like that whole plan in the coup and shit like that.
Yeah.
There was a coup. He's like, so apparently Elizabeth misunderstood me when I said that we should have a coup for you, Herbert. Yes. So we need to stay inside for a little while.
We gotta go.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
They're making me a general, which means I'm gonna have to make you a colonel, Herbert. But you're going to need a disguise. I've got it. What if you took on the last name
Sanders? Well, they found out later on, somebody noted that he was on a Russian warship with his Russian general clothing. He was commanding people too. So they're kind of just like, okay, this guy actually became a general. He wasn't like, some people get honorary general status and they're just like, you sit here and you have drinks with us and you kind of just like joke. But he literally was on warships.
He was like a functioning
general.
Yeah.
And it wasn't noted how good of a general he was, but I would say he probably was pretty fucking damn good, honestly.
I learned this move from Steed Bonnet. What we're going to want to do.
We're going to want to maroon ourselves.
Okay, first.
Put us on the coast. Now, at this time, I want to mention a few things, right? Because in between all these major pop-ins in history, he would find places to relax, and he would also work on his alchemy. In between every major run-in we have with him, he would find a small place, and he would set up his laboratory to start melting and growing precious jewels. So, because most people did not know where his money came from, even though he was an almost disgraced Prince of Transylvania, that's what I like to call him, I would say most of his money came from jewels and the precious metals that he was creating when he would settle down for a few years at a time. And then he would sell them to the princes, the counts, pretty much anyone just so he can get a little coin going. He was smart. I mean, it does seem like he really knew how to work metals. It does seem like he had an upper hand but he would never teach anybody. Yeah, and he would never teach anybody though. And they asked, people would go, kings, princes, counts would come and be like, "Hey, can you show me your secret recipe?"
Can I see what's going on in your shed over there? No, not at the moment. And wait, what's that behind you? And he just like puts his shoulder in the way, like, nope, definitely not doing anything. It's just Herbert over there with a little jeweler's glass on, just like.
yeah. Good job, Herbert. Try it again.
That was a close one, Herb. I mean, Colonel Sanders.
Now, he had a lot of friends, not just among the princes, but amongst the philosophers at the time. He just had so many people he knew that he kind of could just call on anybody and they'd be like, "Hey, come visit me, come see me." And he'd be like, get the fuck out of here. He's spending his time with who he wants to spend his time with, honestly. Yeah, because everybody's calling on him.
Got you. So, like, he was like Snoop Dogg at the Olympics.
Exactly. Well, a famous French philosopher named Voltaire was one of his good friends. Yeah, right.
Oh,
That's
shit.
fucking crazy.
No.
Yeah. He called him the Wonder Man.
Damn.
He called Saint Germain the Wonder Man as the French philosopher, like extraordinaire, right?
That's nuts, dude.
He described him as a, quote, a man who does not die and who knows everything. Voltaire is saying this about him.
From the guy who said that, like, I'm going to butcher this quote, that unobserved life is not worth living. That's a pretty big compliment, man.
And I mean, Voltaire was very influential.
Ew! It's not philosophy. I was actually writing a fact down. God, this is just so insightful. No, I keep trying to tell you people. That's the truth. It's like, no, it's the eternal truth. We get, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Herbert, come over here.
Herbert, explain things to them. How old is he? I just said that.
Speaking of that, one of the princes, Hesse Castle, said that Saint Germain was 300 years old and that he knew the secrets of universal medicine and possessed mastery over nature, kind of like we had just literally talked about the whole time and what he studied. And I mean, literally, he just went up to a canvas and just painted a tree, and they were like, "Ooh, nature, mastery." Clouds.
So I've seen a lot of painters before out in the field, but you know what's really different about this one? When most people go out there and they put up their canvas and they're going to start painting the trees, they don't literally paint the trees, but he does. It's groundbreaking.
Yes, it's crazy.
And he's like, and for my next work, the Cincinnati Post Office.
Ooh. Connecting episodes. Love it.
Cincinnati.
I also... So adding in, like I didn't write this in the script, but adding in, he actually was a noted, amazing artist too. They said that his rubies, his sapphires, like anything he painted, the colors that he painted were so vibrant, like at the time they did not exist. The way that he made those colors look and popped out of the picture, they didn't exist in ideas at the time. So, if you look at a lot of it, the colors are nice, but I wouldn't say a lot of the painted pictures are vibrant. You know what I mean? Like they exist.
Well, I mean, that shit's going to age a little bit.
For sure. Understanding that.
If he did go to India, that does explain a lot. I mean, like dyes and pigments specifically, right?
Yes.
And like, this is Europe, right? And so it's like everything was just like a different shade of gray.
Yes.
Some things were poop colored.
Well, as I said, yes, he was great at painting. He was like a great painter. It's very... Yeah, there's a lot of great painters at this time period too, But they were even saying that he was like, this is some new age shit. Literally, this is new age shit. Well, after his time in St. Petersburg, he went to Brussels in 1763, and he met a lot of people and kept up the makings and transmutations of metals and precious stones that he was doing in between everything else. This would be his continuous work throughout his life. During a conversation with Madame de Troussel, who was a French noblewoman at the time, she mentioned the Philosopher's Stone. And in typical fashion of Saint Germain, he noted, this is a quote, "The pursuit of that were astonishingly illogical, insomuch as they employed no agent but fire, forgetting that fire breaks up and decomposes, and that consequently it was mere folly to depend on it for building up a new composition." So basically saying they're trying to use fire to build something that's going to keep something forever, a new thing. He's like, you're using fire to build this thing when fire destroys. Why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
And that's, honestly, at that time, that's like, most people were just like, heads exploding. He was Jimi Hendrix at the Isle of Wight. Well, it's going to be into the esoteric that we get because, well, that's what he was most known for.
Hell yeah.
Now, there's a lot of contention in this because a lot of sources said that he was one of the starters of the Freemasons, right? But the ones that I believe seem to make the point that he was just a high member of the Freemasons. I'd like to think that he was just a member. A high-ranking member for sure. Because once he left Russia, he built a bunch of Freemason lodges there. And, like I like to add, Catherine the Great, the newest queen of Russia, had put them under protection. All the lodges were now under her protection, which I'd like to add, that's how you can tell how close he was to Catherine the Great, which adds to the feasibility and the lovability of him between him and Catherine the Great and the mother. So that's why I think it adds just into it, you know? Well, Saint Germain attained the highest level in the Freemason society, which is put in there. They actually don't really like to say that he's even a Freemason anymore. There's a lot of contention nowadays saying that he's not a Freemason. And, I mean, they're kind of trying to be like, we're not actually time travelers. They try not to be associated with this guy that's associated as being a time traveler, which makes sense.
Sure.
Right? I mean, you don't want to be associated with being a time traveler either, or like being associated with the time traveler if you're trying to be like a, quote, serious brotherhood fraternity of people, right?
That you kind of do. I would. But, you know, that's just me. I guess I'm not into performing secret rituals in closed rooms and having, you know, a lot of weird practices and secret handshakes and shit like that.
Yeah, don't tell him about the BCR secret handshake. Well, he actually, Saint Germain, was the person who mentored and initiated one of the other mystic leaders. In 1777, he initiated Alessandro Cagliostro.
Who dat?
He would go on to known for his part in the affair of the diamond necklace. I don't know if you know what happened with that.
Nope.
It's we'll get into it in the next episode, but it's Marie Antoinette and almost got him. Yeah, it got them. Yeah, we'll go into it a little bit in the next episode because it's also part of the Saint Germain story, which is way even crazier. But the stonemasons of the time were known to gather and research into knowledge and sometimes even forbidden knowledge during the times. I want to mention his stonemason affiliation because it adds to the cause that he was learning anything and everything he could. The mystic and even esoteric side of him adds to this. And while he's not making public appearances, he's visiting different places and studying alchemy, meditation, and even some types of prayer, all the while setting up Freemason lodges so that he can gain even more knowledge from the Masons in the area. And that's what he was doing. Well, it is here in his later travels that it was revealed during dinner that he wasn't just an ordinary man. Though everyone knew that he was extraordinary and that he was a genius musician, he was an amazing alchemist doing other things never done before, and an amazing painter. He was a military general,
A diamond dealer,
and he had a penchant for showing up at just the right time at a major historical point. He finally showed his method. He was sitting at a dinner table with two other people who noted that he was just talking and then for a few seconds became rigid as a statue. His eyes became dull and colorless, which his eyes were normally expressive beyond words. And then, as if coming back to life, his whole body became reanimated.
Oh my God, what's going on with him? What's happening? And she's like, oh, get out of the way, the doctor's here. Just like hops up on the table and like pecks him really hard in the head. He's like, oh,
Oh, I'm here. Genius.
best doctor in town.
No wonder they call you Dr. Colonel Sanders. Well, after that, he then stated, as he was leaving, "You will not lay eyes on me for 85 years," and then disappeared out the door.
Damn. Why was he mad at them when he left? Like that's such a harsh way to leave after. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he wasn't really mad. He just got up and left.
Oh, that to me that had like a vibe where he just like comes back from the seizure. It's got a small little peck mark bleeding on his head. And he's like, "You won't see me for 85 years. Into the night." And he just like disappears. Like what?
He didn't even say thank you.
He was paying for dinner. What the fuck?
He didn't even say thank you. Well, funnily enough, not too long after that, he died in 1784 in Germany at the castle of his friend Prince Charles of Hesse-Kassel. His name showed up on a Catholic church's registry as a person who passed away, which is why we know that he died.
Yeah.
Or did he? And that's where we'll pick up next week on part 2 of Count Saint Germain, the Time Traveler.
Hell yeah.
He's already been so much of history in just this, 80 years? 90, 100 years? 110 years, I think?
It's been a lot of, this dude
120,
is just popcorn.
actually.
Yeah, this dude is just popcorn throughout history.
Popping in and out.
Yes.
We'd like to thank you all for listening, and we'd like to give another special shout out to Copy Kitty.
Look, folks, he's trying to say sometimes it's okay to be a copycat, and you should copy Kitty. And with what Copy Kitty has done, has enabled us to do all the fantastic shit that's going on right now, she's actually providing for you, the listener, sitting at home to have something to do on a random night, or maybe if you want to, never. You don't even have to watch this. I don't know. Why are you listening this far? Where am I going with this? The point I'm trying to make is that we have a bunch of different tiers. We have a bunch of different fun things going on behind the scenes. And, partially we're doing it for us. Mostly we're doing it for you, including my favorite fucking thing. Dollar Goddamn Movie Night. Where every month we're going to be basically pirating a random film and watching it together. And I'm kind of fucking stoked about that. You know, it's going to be Japanese horror and gore movies. It's going to be really obscure UFO documentaries. Probably some North Korean propaganda films at some point. I just came across their news network.
We're not doing that.
Wild.
We're not doing that.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I got this.
Only to joke. Only to joke. Yeah.
No. Anyways, you can get all of that for just $1 a month. If you get a chance, check out the link at the top of the show notes for our Patreon.
Yes, please do. Mingo would like to say one last thing to you. Thank you so much for listening. And
we love y'all. Bye. They're making me a general, which means I'm going to have to make you a colonel, Herbert. But you're going to need a disguise. I've got it. What if you took on the last name
Sanders?
You must tell me about these 9 herbs and spices.
Well, the original time traveler, Colonel Sanders. Well, so the king. God.
It was fucking Herbert.
He's the current original Colonel Sanders.
He's just tired of getting a Santa Claus amount of letters in the mail from all of his mistresses.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta do something. But you know what they say when you have a big family, start a big business. I got an idea.
And introducing the mashed potato bowl.